Want to make sense of the Portland market for October 2023? This is the video for you. We will be diving into the Portland market, and I've got the stats for you from the latest market trends to the inflation rate, so that way you can make an informed decision. I'll also be adding a couple bonus tips throughout this video, so stay tuned for that. I'm Will, and I create video content about living here in Portland, Oregon, along with educational content about the real estate process, buying, selling, or investing. So if you're interested in doing any of those, feel free to reach out. I'll make sure to have my contact details down below. So is the Portland market a buyer's or seller's market right now? Let's dive right into the numbers. As of right now, the median days on market is around 49 days, which means that these homes are staying on the market for quite a bit of time. Depending on the price range, if you're much more on the higher end, let's say 650 and above, you will most likely be seeing those listings stay on the market for a longer period of time. However, if you're in the first-time home buyer range, probably anywhere between the 350 to around 600, you'll most likely still see a lot of competition. Even though interest rates have gone up and it has diminished the amount of demand there is still a lack of inventory in general. We did move up from 2.2 to 2.9 months of inventory though. Overall, right now, it's much more of a neutral market. Let's dive into the specific areas in Portland from Beaverton to Lake Oswego and understand where these market trends are going. As you can see, the overall market action index has been decreasing, meaning that the lower that this index is, the more of a buyer's market it is, and the higher that it is, the more of a seller's market it is. Overall, we've seen a relatively downward trend towards having a lower market index. We have seen a little bit more of a temperament in terms of the median list price, and the median days on market have been increasing. We will probably continue to see this as we move into these winter months, and you can also see that the inventory is also rising. This will probably continue until we hit the January timeframe, and just know that we are going much more into that seasonality of real estate, so keep that in mind. Which part of Portland are you most interested in? I'd love to hear, so comment down below. Now, how is the current economy impacting our local market here in Portland, Oregon? We are seeing that overall inflation has ticked up slightly. However, if the core inflation has been going down a little bit, which means that the Federal Reserve is still moving towards the general place that they're wanting to go. At this point, it is unlikely that we'll see the interest rates rise for the November meeting. However, things may change in between now and then. And when it comes to the inventory, because of the fact that there's a lot of economic uncertainty, we are most likely going to see a lot of people freeze. This goes for both buyers and sellers. Two economic factors that I am keeping an eye on right now is going to be the interest rates. And if we see those increase, we'll see that buyer demand will probably come down. In terms of them staying the same, we may see a little bit of an increase in buyer demand because of the fact that buyers get used to that rate. And if we do see large drops, let's say there's a percentage drop, then we'll probably see a lot more buyers come back into the market. And for every 1% we see that mortgage rate drop, we would see about 5 million buyers enter the market per Black Knight. Now, the other economic figure that I am looking at is going to be unemployment. We would really need to see this go significantly up in order to see the economic damage to then translate into the housing market. And this is going to be a delayed factor where you're going to have to see 6, 8, 12 months later to really see what that economic impact would be in the housing market. So those are two factors I would keep an eye out when you are looking at the housing market. Now, what does this mean for buyers here in Portland, Oregon? It means that you will have the ability to push a little bit more for seller concessions, especially focusing on rate buy downs. That way you can afford the monthly payment for the time being. And then also looking at the fact of being in backup position. We are seeing a lot of houses have sale fails anywhere between 20 to 30%, depending on where you're at. So it would be a great opportunity for you to sneak in afterwards and maybe not have to have as competitive of a price. Let's look at the market trends between September and August, and then also September to last year. Now you can see between September versus August, we still see a lowering of the amount of listings and overall a decrease in the amount of pending sales along with closed sales. Overall, we saw an increase in terms of the amount of inventory and then also the total market time. And then if we're looking between this year versus last year's September, overall still a decrease in the listings and also the pending sales. Overall, we've just seen a much more of a constrained market in general. However, prices have stayed elevated because of both the reduction in inventory and the reduction of the buyer demand. Now, what will happen with the Portland real estate market in the future? With that, if we continue to see rates as they are or they fluctuate as predicted, we will most likely see starts and stops with the amount of demand because of the fact that those rates will go up and down, and we might see something very similar to what we saw this year, where in January and February, when we saw rates come back down, we saw an increase in demand, which then kind of pushed up the real estate market and prices in general, and we'll start to see that throughout all of next year. And if we do also see that buyers are still interested in making those purchases, we'll probably see new construction having to take on a lot more of those because of the affordability side, and also seeing these rate buy downs become more common. And if you found any of this content helpful, it'd be wonderful if you could hit that like button. It helps my channel out a ton. Now, for a bonus tip for those house hackers out there, Fannie Mae recently said that they will be dropping their down payment to just 5% for small multifamily from 2 to 4 units. This might be a great opportunity for you to jump into the market, especially since there has been a high barrier to entry to those products. And when it comes to the rate buy downs, this might be also a great option for you as both sellers and buyers to be aware of, and then start capitalizing on that as needed. If you found this market update helpful, it'd be wonderful if you could hit that like and subscribe button, so that way you can get notified when other educational content pops up. And I'll make sure to leave my contact information down below if you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in Portland, Oregon. Thank you so much for watching.